Hallå där pojkar och flickor. I'm just kidding. So this friend of mine tipped me out on what can you say, a bad creepypasta called The Pocket that's apparently very popular, and so I read it and I really can't see why it's so popular, but yeah, what do I know? Anyway, while searching for the actual creepypasta, I also find another one called The Pocket, and that's almost equally bad, but a little bit worse than the popular one. So I was thinking I'm gonna do a little The Pocket back-to-back reading thing, because apparently just the title, The Pocket, seems to attract some pretty bad stories for some reason. Anyway, this is The Pocket number 1. My family and I just moved into a new house about 2 months ago. I never got to explore the house fully. So one day when everybody was out, I went into the basement with my radio and some CDs. I was looking at all the cracks on the walls, ceiling and floors. Then I noticed a painted area that was different from the other walls. It had a paper-thin wall cover. So I punched through it!
Boy, that escalated quickly.
I saw a doll. This doll had a long tail with a ball at the end of it. It had a pocket for its back and 2 different color ears, and the doll itself was pink. It was a cute-looking doll, to be honest. I looked inside the pocket and I noticed a letter. I decided to read the letter, and it said this. And I woke up in a place where I grew up when I was younger, when I was 5. It was my room with all my things. My bed with the Power Rangers sheets and my Ninja Turtles pillowcases on my pillows. Wow. But I noticed this doll. It was a popple. This popple was very clean and bright. When I went toward the doll, the room started to change with this white light. Everything was very bright and I couldn't see. When the light went away, I was in another familiar place. This room was mine when I was 15. I had a lot of posters of bands and all the CDs laying out everywhere. But again, the popple was there, but this time it was full of mud and looks very old. Again, I went toward the doll, and the room started to change again, but this with dark clouds and rain. When the clouds cleared up, I noticed I was in my college dorm. Lots of trash on the floor and dirty clothes as well. And yet again, that doll was there again, but this time it was missing an arm and its leg also. It was still covered with mud. This time when I went toward the doll, nothing happened. I picked up the doll. It kind of smelled like wet clothes or something. I've noticed something in the corner of the room. A lifeless body. The body! I went toward the body. I was kind of nervous. When I got closer to the body, I noticed it was my younger sister with her eyes ripped out and one of her arm and one of her leg missing. Then I noticed I'm the one holding a knife with blood on it. Then I woke up again in the same place where I grew at. This dream is repeating itself, so I wrote this letter and I put it in this doll. So somebody can help me, please help. After reading this letter, I was thinking to myself, how the hell did the doll come out of the dream? Didn't make sense. So I decided to put something in the doll, so I put $1 just for fuck's sake. Then the letter I was holding started to add more to itself. It read, I noticed something different next the lifeless body. I noticed $1. What the hell is this? Okay, maybe something was wrong with this doll. So I decided to put a CD in the doll to see what happens next. The letter again changed and it reads, Now I noticed a CD next to the doll, but I saw it come out of the doll's pocket, so I decided to this instead. Then a hand came out of the doll, so it taped the pocket shut. I don't know who that was trapped, but I burned that doll and threw the remains in the creek I lived by. After throwing the doll out in the creek, I decided to read the letter again to see if anything changed. There was nothing on the paper anymore. It was just soaking wet. Later that night, I decided to go and receive the doll again, but when I saw the doll again, it was in perfect shape. I know I burned that damn doll. And so I decided to look in the pocket again, and to my surprise, there was another letter. Me being a dumbass, I decided to read it, and it said, "What comes around goes around." And then I looked behind me, and I noticed I'm in the basement again with the doll looking at me. I try to leave, but as soon as I get close to the door, the room changes to my bedroom. Then I try to leave my room, and again as soon as I got to the door, the room changes to the basement again. The whole time I'm trying to leave this nightmare, the doll is there looking at me and smiling. ... So yeah, that was the pocket number 1, and yeah, I'm not sure what to say. So let's just move on to the next pocket, which is the popular one. The Pocket by ManufacturerINC. There were rumors going around about some abandoned old silo that had loomed over the woods. The woods were located in the middle of a field of just dirt alongside the railroad tracks. ... Not like anybody cares. Yeah, you're right, I don't care. It's an eerie sight with just, sitting there looming over the woods with just trailing down the sides. Anyway, some rumored it to be haunted by like some old farmer who hung himself in the silo and takes his revenge on anyone who enters. I say this rumor is complete bullshit, especially when the one spreading the rumor tries to back up the rumor with a story of some stupid kids who were curious and went in the silo, never came to come back out. Others say that the silo is just a good hangout spot where people would never find them. So with both positive and negative comments, my geek band of friends and I decided to check it out. We decided to enhance the creepiness by choosing to visit the silo on a gloomy and cloudy day. Not the night. So the day came and my friends Pete, Meg, and Wes met at my house since it was alongside the railway. We walked along the railway talking and laughing and having ourselves a good time.
Just hanging out with the family, having ourselves a party.
Until we saw it, ... The silo was, of course, just sitting there, looming tall over the trees. Curious, we walked toward it as our laughter, along with our talking, died down. The closer we got to it, the colder it felt, as if there was some sort of cold, dark aura radiating from it, sending shivers down our spines. ... Hell! Wes even let out a small little yelp. We paced around the circumference of the silo, looking for an entrance of some sort. We ended up finding a ladder leading up into the silo. The rungs of the ladder were also handles to open hatches all along the side of the structure. All were locked except for one. ... Though it was stuck, so we had Pete climb up and open the hatch, and within a few minutes we were inside the silo, standing on the hay left in there. In the center there was a large hole, deep in the hay. It was dark, but we could hear a steady flow of air coming from the bottom. Oddly enough, there was a rope descending into the hole. Since I was the only one smart enough to actually be prepared for this, I took out my flashlight. Holding the flashlight in my mouth, I began to descend. I dropped to the bottom, scanning the small area. Everything seemed safe as I looked at the scattered hay, dirt, and also another peculiar hatch. I beckoned for the others to come down. As they descended, my eye had caught something covering the rope. The color of it was red. I hid my panic and showed the others the hatch I found. Pete opened it, revealing a dark hole.
What the hell? ...
Now the fucked up thing about that was it reeked of ... death. The others had sensed it too, and of course Wes had whimpered like a little bitch. Meg ended up gaining the courage to take my flashlight and go first into the hole. We followed her and we walked through this dark tunnel for about 10 to 15 minutes until Meg had told us we reached another hatch and she opened it. A bright light had filled the tunnel, and that's when we heard it. A piercing shriek, followed by the sounds of something running, panting hard. In a desperate attempt to avoid the creature that had made that horrific shriek, we ran. Once we were out of the tunnel, we slammed the hatch shut, attempting to lock it. The sound had stopped, and breathing a sigh of relief, all of us had observed our current surroundings. We were in a concrete block which appeared to be an old septic tank, but with an opening at the top, and through that opening we could see the forest above. We began to climb out, and then it happened. Again, we heard that damn sound again. Wes wasn't even out of the hole yet. ... Poor Wes. This creature slammed through the hatch, and a sharp clawed hand reached down and grasped Wes's leg tight, pulling him into the tunnel. We heard his terrified screams, and then suddenly... ... It stopped. We heard the sharp snapping of bones and the tearing of flesh. The rest of us were frozen in shock. The sound of Wes being killed was revolting. Meg ended up vomiting at the sound. After that, we tried to find our way out of the thicket. We searched for a way out for at least an hour, but we concluded that the forest was enclosed in a large perimeter of barbed wire fencing. We panicked, having no idea what we should do, and also realizing that the thing comes out in the dark. Night was coming fast, and in a desperate panic, Meg climbed high into a tree, hoping the thing wouldn't find her. Pete found a small hole in the ground to hide in. Bad idea. Again, we heard the shriek, and I watched the thing climb out of its home. In my panic, I quickly climbed up the tree and watched Pete sitting in the hole. I also, to my regret, had got a better look at the creature we were facing. It was the most grotesque thing I had ever seen. Its face was mask-like, pale white against its dark skin. The face seemed to only have 2 dark holes for eyes and a large smile stretched across the face. After a few moments of observation, I had soon noticed that it was a mask made from Wes's skinned face. I was scared shitless as the thing was crawling toward Pete. I sat in the tree as I watched Pete run in fear, but that was no use, since the thing caught up to him instantly. It shoved both hands through Pete's chest and tore him apart with ease. Oh God! Its chest opened up, revealing bloody tendrils that wrapped around Pete's head, tearing it off from his mutilated corpse, slowly pulling it into the empty cavity and sealed it shut. The skin face of Wes had disintegrated and quickly replaced with a mask made from Pete with the same hollow eyes and screwed up smile. Then it spoke in a soft, raspy voice. I am the bucket. It proceeded to crawl back into its dwelling. From the other tree I heard Meg crying. I beckoned for her to climb down as I climbed down myself and told her we are getting the hell out of this place alive. Hesitantly, she climbed down, and I went up to the barbed wire fence and gripped the sharp wire, spreading it wide enough for someone to climb through. My hands bled, but I ignored the pain as Meg climbed through the opening. Again, the pocket shrieked, and in my panic I hastily crawled through the opening and cut myself up bad. Bleeding. I ran with Meg and ignored the pain, running until we had reached civilization once again. 10 years had passed. Meg and I were happily married. I say were for a reason. ... The same reason why I'm telling you this story today. ... Meg is dead. She died a horrible death. So horrible. The police were called to the scene after a couple going for a walk through the woods found her mutilated, headless corpse laying at the edge of the woods. When I say the word edge, that means that it is far from the barbed wire fence. This can only mean that the pocket is free from its person. It's free and it's coming straight for me. I know it is. This is horrible. Right now, I'm looking at our marriage picture, trying to calm myself down with the happy memories. It didn't help. ... Because in the reflection of the glass, I saw a face slowly coming toward me. Meg's face, only it was eyeless and had that damn terrifying smile. The pocket, it's here. It has come to take me. I feel his hands pierce through my chest. At this moment, I realized its prime motive. It killed to free people from the hell that now exists in this world. And I earned the privilege to be freed. I smile. So yeah, that was the popular pocket story. And yeah, it's average at best, but yeah, it's not really anything special, and yeah, I just don't see the appeal. But anyway, thank you.